What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Sheoldred the Apacolypse in Historic Brawl. I'm sure you're all familiar with this card, but I'll go over it anyway. Sheoldred the Apacolypse is a 4 mana, mono black, 4/5 Phyrexian Praetor with Death Touch, and 2 sort of inverted clauses. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Pretty straightforward. When this card was first spoiled, people kind of poo-pooed it. They were like, this is kind of lame. This isn't gonna do anything. And then ever since its inception in Standard, it's basically taken over multiple formats. It's a staple in Standard, obviously, but also Modern and Commander and Historic Brawl. So I've made videos on this deck before. I've made some tweaks since those videos, just tightening up the things that I think could be tightened up. Like I had like 2 of these type of Saga Wraths in there. This one's good because the chapter 2 and 3 are important, but the other one was kind of meh, so I added in sorry, wrong card. Where'd it go? I added in Pestilent Haze. There it is. It's just a earlier board wipe, 3 mana. All creatures get -2/-2. It's nice against aggro strategies or mono white weenie or whatever. And the flip side, or the second clause, remove 2 loyalty counters from each planeswalker, could be helpful if we're playing like a planeswalker deck, or like if we're playing Teferi, right? And we don't have a direct way to get rid of it. We can remove a couple loyalty, make sure it doesn't ultimate. So yeah, I made some tweaks. A couple other things too. I don't think the Celestis was in the other ones. But this deck really wants to draw cards and make our opponents either force them to draw cards or make them not want to draw cards because they're going to lose life. So stuff like Gaia Reach Sanitarium can force our opponents to draw cards, and we draw cards. So this card turns into, instead of each of us drawing a card and discarding a card, now we each draw a card, discard a card. They lose 2 life, we gain 2 life, right? And then the Celestis passively draws us cards, right? So we gain life. I just added a bunch more card draw, passive card draw, things like that, because it's just such a powerful effect. It seems so simple, but it's really, really powerful. And if the opponent can't remove this card, it's basically GG. I've played many games, even decks where this is just part of the 99, and this card comes down and it takes over the entire game. So having it in the command zone is super cool. Of course, we're restricted to mono black, so that does hinder us a little bit, but my favorite color in all of Magic the Gathering is black. I think it's most of you too. I just did a poll recently where like 100 of you voted, and black was by far everyone's favorite color. It was like 30, almost 40% of you said black was your favorite color. So I agree, it is my favorite color too. But we do have some weaknesses, like we can't interact with artifacts. Black has no way to interact with artifacts, and we have very seldom, narrow enchantment removal. A couple of the ones like Invoke Despair and Feed the Swarm, but other than that, we don't have a lot of ways to do it. That's why Ugin is in the deck, so that we can remove permanents that are tough for our color to get rid of. But this deck is extremely powerful, and we do have a couple infinite combos, or at least one that I can think of that's infinite. So if we get Grizzlebrand down with our commander, we can draw our whole deck, because we pay 7 life, but then we draw 7 cards, which gains us 14 life, so we actually gain more life than we lose, so we can draw our entire deck. And oh yeah, the other infinite combo is Lich's Mastery. So if we get this down and we're able to protect ourselves, whenever we gain life, we draw a card. And of course, Sheoldred says whenever we draw a card, we gain life, and so we create an infinite loop where we draw our whole deck. That's a super fun combo. If we can win from there, I don't know, but it's definitely fun to do. And then of course the Peer into the Abyss combo, where we have Sheoldred down, we make our opponent draw half their deck, lose half their life rounded up, and then they just die on the spot, unless they had an absurd amount of life, but they're going to draw like 40 cards and lose 80 life, right? So let's get into the game, see if we can get this deck humming. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. Come out with a different video every day. Mostly Historic Brawl content, some Commander content. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, subscribe. This is my favorite monocolor deck. Of any color, and even of all the mono black decks, this one is by far my favorite. It has the right combination of powerful commander that's low mana curve, so we're not waiting forever to get it out. And when it comes down, it immediately makes an impact. It can gain us life back, right? And it can drain our opponent. Gidia, what does this do? It's like Angel Tribal. Okay, so I think I've played this deck before. It's been a while, so we have Bitter Triumph to get rid of it. And Necropotence is pretty sweet in this deck. Little side clause, Necropotence does not trigger Sheoldred because it doesn't draw us cards. It exiles them and then we put them in our hand. But it's just such a powerful card that I included in the deck, even though it's technically not synergistic. They're gonna play Gideon next turn. Let's just wait and kill it on the spot. Oh, they don't play it. Interesting. Okay. Maybe they're trying to play it and then have protection up. Okay, well that's interesting. We can just kill it.
My voice is just one of
We'll pay 3 life. We don't care about life in this deck because we're gonna gain it all back. So they're gonna make a 4/4.
even here. Shine your light on evil.
Sure. Let's see if they tap out. Okay, they took my mana rock. What does this say? Until it leaves the battlefield. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we can Sheoldred. They obviously have removal type effects in their deck. We do need an answer though. But this can definitely gain us life. So let's make them have the answer. They are in white, so they should have removal, but you never know. Put down a creature land, so we got to keep our eye on that. They have 5 mana. Okay. It's awkward that they have a bunch of flyers. So we could draw 2 and gain 4 life. We could Necropotence as well. But I think we do this. We get rid of you, because that's the biggest creature right now. Scry 2. Dark Ritual. We don't really need either of these right now. What we need is a board wipe. We can make them sack a creature as well. Yep. Might as well. I mean, any of these is fine. They can give me my mana rock back, or they can sacrifice one of these. Okay. Well, we're not going to block with it, so we might as well attack. They can kill it if they want, but it's got Death Touch, so it'll kill their creatures. Take 2. They can power up the cave. Alright, that's their whole turn. They have lethal next turn if we don't do something. Take action. Oh, perfect. Right on time. Yeah, unfortunately, this is not going to do it right now. Gain 2. Invoke Despair. Gain 2. Okay, well, we can invoke Despair, which will draw us 2 cards, which will... Yeah, I think that's what we do here. That's the best play by far. Perfect. Uh-huh. And that was a great draw. Just goes to show you how fast this deck can go from being on the brink of death to in complete control. Well, I mean, we're not in complete control, but you know what I mean. Like, we're even on life totals. Yeah. Attack in. Now I'm ahead on life. Take action. I think you're pretty irrelevant right now. And because of that trigger, we gain another life, another 2. So like I said in the intro, if the opponent cannot get rid of this card, it takes over the game. So they really need to get rid of this. They are what? 1, 2, 3, 4 next turn. They're on a 2-turn clock here if they don't block this next turn. And they're straight up dead if we draw a card that makes them draw. Which we have a couple of in the deck. I know we talked about it, Peer into the Abyss, but we have smaller ones too that are like 2 and 3 mana. Actually, this one says target player. I just realized that. So yeah, Sign and Blood them. They're dead. If they don't remove this, they're dead. Enduring? I don't know what these cards do. We gain 2. Oh, they have hexproof. Well, that was convenient. That was convenient. Okay. Black. Does this trigger yet? 3 for each basic swamp? No, that makes us even on mana. So we could do it ourselves, or we could Necropotence. This is... We gotta get rid of this now. Oh, you know what? We could... Okay, hold on. First... Let's see if they block. Okay, so they're gonna lose hexproof. Take action. Sheoldred. We could have Mind Stoned and Sheoldred, but it's okay. Did you draw an answer? Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, this is activated abilities. This is a triggered ability, so little lesson for people who are newer to Magic. Activated abilities are like the Celestis here, where I pay 3 mana. That's me activating the ability. Triggered abilities are ones that happen passively. That say, like, words like whenever, you know, like whenever you draw a card, this happens. That's a triggered ability. This gets rid of activated abilities, so it does not get rid of our commander. It does make it so it can't attack and block, I'm pretty sure, but it doesn't get rid of its static ability. Yes, I want to target my opponent. GG. Something to think about when you're putting these effects in your deck. You want it to say loses all abilities. There's a lot of cards that say activated abilities can't be activated, and yes, there are some cards where that's applicable, but most of the powerful cards in Historic Brawl are triggered abilities, and these effects don't get rid of them. There are, however, cards that are, 1 or 2 mana, just like this aura here, that say has no abilities, and those are the ones you want to put in your deck. There's also blue effects that say that. It's like target creature becomes a 1/1 with no abilities. That would turn off all abilities. So be aware of the wording on these things. This is your between game reminder to subscribe if you haven't already. I think that first game really showcased the power of Sheoldred as a card. I mean, it did everything that I talked about in the intro. It came down, they couldn't remove it, it took over the whole game, right? And then our deck is designed to take advantage and really exploit the claws, like with Sign in Blood. Like, the whole reason it's in there is because, yes, I can draw cards, but I can also make the opponent draw cards and kill them straight up. So it turns into a 2 mana, 4 damage burn spell, right? Okay, mono red. Should be an interesting matchup because this deck's looking to do a lot of damage, except Sheoldred typically, like, mono red has a really hard time getting rid of Sheoldred because it's 5 toughness. So 1 lander, 2 lander, technically. This is one of those cards I was talking about that makes our opponents draw cards, just like Sign in Blood. So we have a couple of those effects in the deck. Orcish Bowmasters is nice. It can be a blocker for their little creatures if they have them. This is technically a nice removal spell, though it makes us cost life. This is a good board wipe. I think Torbrand, yeah, is a 2/4. So this gets rid of Torbrand. It's a good hand. It's just clunky because of the tap land. But I guess we go tap land this and hope we draw more lands. Fingers crossed, otherwise we're dead. It's risky. It's risky, but we'll do it. Hello, opponent. Hello, good game. Okay. Should I just scoop right now because they said GG? How about we... God, I'm so tempted to talk a Numa Thoughtseize them because of that, but I'm not. I'm gonna be a good boy. I'm gonna play the right way. Wow, nothing? Okay, that's weird for mono red to not have anything on turn 1 and turn 2. This is a great draw engine. Let's see what you got going on in there. Oh, maybe you're big red. 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If excess damage was dealt this way, no excess damage, and then you get a one-time boom, blah, 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 blah. Additional causes cast a spell. You may reveal a dragon card from your hand. Does 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay. Okay, this goes really wide. This is a really good card, but we can get rid of it. Yeah, none of this stuff matters except this. This is the most annoying thing they have. Well, if we draw lands, which it looks like we will at least be able to... We will at least have time to do some of our draws. We'll be okay. But man, we just need 1 more land. We're lucky that we're not under any pressure. Let's go ahead and foretell this. Make it a cheap removal spell. We're gonna need the removal coming up quick here. They can play their Whirler if they want. It does nothing. Just comes down as a 3/3. Okay, they're gonna play Torbrand. That's fine. We'll just remove it. Perfect. This could be a land, but we don't know that. So why don't we let them play their turn? Well, we can scry 2 with this. So Torbrand adds 2 damage on top of their damage. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we keep these. These are both technically lands, so we'll take those. Soul Scar Mage. Okay. Okay, they're putting on board pressure. So do we just languish them? Because this now costs 6, and they missed a land drop. So this will give us even more time. If they play the light up the stage, okay. So they're just trying to hit lands. They hit a land. Well, we could actually make them discard this dragon if we want. But then we're missing a land drop. They do have a way to double spell and kill our Sheoldred, so maybe we just get rid of one of these. This thing is extremely powerful, and it makes me want to get rid of it, but we have removal for it. Does it have haste? No. The control mage in me wants to make me discard it, but I think we can't miss land drops. So I'm gonna be a good boy, and I think we just get our card advantage down, since we have no board pressure. Let them play their stuff. We can invoke Despair it next turn. They're reading the card. Are you an arena zoomer? Are you not aware of Dark Tutelage and how it works? It actually kind of helps you, opponent, because it makes me lose life. Torbrand. Uh-huh. They're going to really hate what I'm about to do to them. Would you like Torbrand to cost 8 now? They can play their dragon, which I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. Nice, I didn't take any life from that. Ooh, Swiftfoot Boots. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance. Are these instant speed? Instant sorcery. Alright, alright. Okay, so we do it like... Hold on, let's feed the swarm. Gotta get rid of that. We're gonna lose 5 life. So we can get this down. No, that doesn't matter this turn. So let's exile their graveyard. Get rid of all that junk we've already gotten rid of. Let's get the boots down. Set up for getting Sheoldred down next turn. Start gaining some life back. And protect it with our hexproof artifact. Double strike. Whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may exile the top card of your library. Okay, so it's like a card advantage spell. But they have to do damage. It has double strike, so that's something to keep in mind. So we can't ambush it with Orcish Bowmasters. It would just die. Does Vital Ritual sit, though? My turn. Okay, another way to gain life. Another way to clear the board. Okay, so this is the most important thing, so we're doing this first. Hopefully they don't have another instant speed thing in their hand. This is the moment where they have to do it. Do you have 5 damage worth of instant speed spells in your hand? I know you have 1, but this is a sorcery. Aha! They did. They did. Okay. Fair enough. Let's at least gain the life while we have the opportunity. We can just do this again. Take action. Shadow's Verdict is also really nice against them. So yeah, we're loaded up. They're running out of cards. Oh, nice. I didn't even think about that because the double strike, they get to get 2 cards. Very cool. It's a really cool card. I have not seen this card before. That's really cool. Thermal Alchemist. Liliana will eat those up. Thought Distortion. Thought Distortion, huh? One of my favorite black cards. Probably good against this matchup. So, land. How much mana do we have? 9. Okay. So we can Thought Distortion and Pestilent Haze. That might get rid of everything in their hand, and then we can start playing Liliana and all that stuff. We could just straight up play Liliana. So that would be 6. So we'd have 3 left over to do what? I don't know. We could play Sheoldred and put the boots on it. That would be 7 mana, and we'd have 2 mana left to do something, but I think we gotta get rid of this board state. So I think it's you.
I do hope you make this battle exciting for me.
Get rid of these guys.
More useful in the grave.
And Cling to Dust. If it's a creature, we gain 3 life. Pass on through. Now they're red. They may have removal for Liliana. That's fine. That's not our win con. Our win con is our commander. So if they want to waste their spells on this, it's less spells that they can use on our commander. There's definitely an argument for a Thought Distortion turn.
Death won't conquer me so
Because it would have exiled this. But it's fine. Again, there's no wrong way to do it. Because, yes, keeping Liliana on the field would be awesome. Because it's an awesome planeswalker. But that's not how we're going to win. Phyrexian Arena is awesome. So this is how we're going to win. We're going to get this down. We're going to do it like this. They have to have another 5 damage right here. And yeah, I think we just take over the game. So we want I think it's this, honestly. Because they're not going to be drawing cards. This is the nerfed version of Orcish Bowmasters. If it was the regular version, I'd keep it. But I think it's that. From this board state, I think this is the weakest card in our hand. This draws us cards. This draws us cards. This gets rid of their spells. This kills something. This kills all their stuff. This kills all their stuff. This kills all their stuff. I mean, we're set up to keep this board state the way it is with our hand. Blood Moon. Okay. Well, I have a lot of basic land, so that does nothing. Cool card, bro. For you not familiar, Blood Moon is an infamous card. Non-basic lands are turned into mountains, which normally hoses decks, but it's not very good against monocolor decks because I have a lot of basic lands. Against a 5-color deck, 4-color deck, 3-color deck, this hoses them, but not our deck. Okay, so let's start drawing tons of cards. What's in your hand, opponent? Yep. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, did you? God, I love thought distortion. Yep, that's how I would feel too. Yeah. Hey, beating mono red into the ground, chef's kiss. That's what we do on this channel. Okay. Dang, we got right into a game. Okay, this is a tough matchup for us because, well, it's a powerful deck, but also it's a enchantment. And again, we don't have a lot of ways of interacting with enchantments. I mean, we have Invoke Despair, but it's kind of it's going to take a while to get there. We get to go first at least. We have Swiftfoot Boots. I mean, it's a good hand against most opponents. It's just kind of, no matter what, our deck is pretty awful against this matchup. So we will try, but I'm not confident that we're going to do super well in this game. Sure. We don't really have a turn 3 play that we care about that much right now. So I think it's okay to get that down. Clean to dust is nice. There's a silent. What does this do? Each player chooses 6 lands they control, destroy all other permanents. Okay, well that affects you too, opponent. So I guess they want to get rid of the boots, potentially. Oh. How much does it cost to activate that? Double white? Okay. Sure. Yeah. Can't attack or block unless you control at least 3 other creatures. Okay. Well, I guess we're just going the aggro route. Each player draws a card and loses 1 life. And each player discards a card? Sure. Do you have another white source? Would be a good time to have it. Ooh, you do, but it's might be a turn too late. Okay. Fair enough. Gain 2. We can evoke to spare them. That might be GG. Yep. So they're gonna spend their turn Urza Silexing, I'm assuming. I mean, they have to, right? Otherwise, they just die. Okay. I hate to break it to you, opponent, but you still die. Okay. Okay, crack the food. Go up to 4, back down to 2. You can do it. Do you want to do it? I think you have to. Unless you have spot removal, you gotta crack this. Nova. Okay. We trudge on. They're really holding on to this. They are on the brink of death, though, with 2 cards in hand. What does this do? You upkeep mill a card, exile a creature card from your graveyard, draw a card. Okay. We can't play Sheoldred this turn, unfortunately. We can play Liliana, but that's into the Urza Silex. We can duress them. Okay. Doesn't do anything. We can't... What does this do? Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay. We can... What? Oh. Hold on. Hold on. Let's not mess this up. Let's not mess this up. This is why Crawling Barrens is in the deck. Yep. GG. So, you know, I know I got all different kinds of viewers watching me. Some who've played the game a long time, some who haven't. So I apologize to the experienced players for over-explaining stuff. But I'm just doing this for the new players because a lot of people hit me up recently saying that like they've watched my stuff and now they want to play Arena. So I'm just going to start explaining things that I think are important for the game. So this is a creature land, right? So it's a land, obviously taps for mana, but it can turn into a creature. When you build decks, you want to have at least one of these in your deck. I really like Crawling Barrens because it's colorless, so it goes in any deck. It's not the best creature land. It's not the worst. It's right in the middle of the pack, but it is a solid creature land, and this is the exact situation as to why you put this in your deck. It's not going to come up often, but every once in a while you're going to have this person who has a bunch of answers to your stuff, and you got them really close, or you know, maybe you have extra mana and you don't know what to do with it. Well, you can pump it into your Crawling Barrens. You don't have to turn into a creature. If you have 4 extra mana, it's on their end step. You can just put the counters on and not make into a creature to make it vulnerable to removal. And then you can make this thing huge over time and then just swing in when it's convenient. On this situation, all I had to do was activate it once to make it a 2/2 and kill them. But this is why you put at least one of these in your deck, especially in control decks. This is kind of like a mid-range control deck where it's not really like full-on control, but it is like a lot of removal and stuff just because we're in black. But in decks like that, you want to have alternative win cons, and having a land like this is really, really nice. Alright, let's do a deck review. So, Sheoldred. You know, like I said, incredibly powerful card. You know, just the combination of it being only 4 mana, and then, you know, being able to gain you life and make the opponent lose life, and it's a 4/5, and it has Death Touch. It's just, it covers so much ground, right? Like, if you need it to be an incredible blocker, it is. No one wants to attack into this card because their creature's probably going to die, and Sheoldred probably won't unless their creature is 5 or more, you know, power, which is not most creatures, right? Then if it stays on the battlefield, it takes over the whole game, right? Especially with our deck and the way it's constructed, it really takes advantage of the 2 clauses on the card. And then the fact that it can come down as early as, it can literally in this deck come down as early as turn 2 with Dark Ritual. So we play a land, turn 2, play another land, Dark Ritual, Sheoldred. So we can start making the opponent lose tons of life. And then if you start throwing in other stuff like Invoke Despair, and on that last game we had Rankle, which is a hasty 3/3, but also makes them draw, and it forces them to draw a card and sacrifice a creature and discard a card if we want, but mainly draw a card so we can do, if we attack with this like we did, so that's 4 damage plus 3 damage, so that's 7 damage plus them drawing a card, which is 9 damage. So like in one swing we're doing 9 damage to them with these 2 cards. It just adds up. It adds up real fast, and I think that's what people underestimated about this card when it first got revealed. What was that? Was that a year ago now? I can't even remember. Almost a year ago now. Everyone thought this was kind of a lame effect, but people just didn't realize how like fast this adds up and how you can manipulate it and like force your opponent to draw cards, and how life gain is kind of considered one of the weakest mechanics in Magic the Gathering, but it's not that weak. Like, you need life to stay in the game. So the main way people try to kill you in the game is making your life total go down to 0. There's obviously other ways to do it, like milling you out or infinite combos or whatever, right? But the main way people try to kill you is by lowering your life total down to 0. And if you're able to just constantly gain life, they can never do it. No matter how many creatures they swing with, no matter how many burn spells they have, if you're just constantly gaining life and you're passively doing it with like the Celestis and Collector's Vault, they're going to have like an incredibly hard time killing you. So this card's amazing. I really love it. It's everything I love about mono black. And it's particularly like mono black is one of the only colors that punishes card draw. Every deck now and every color, it seems like, including like white and green, have access to card draw. So, back 10 years ago, only blue and black really had access to card draw consistently, but now Wizards has printed card draw in every single color because, I don't know, people complained. So now every single deck, especially in Historic Brawl, can draw cards and draw cards in mass. So this card punishes those decks, and black is one of the only colors that punishes card draw, just like Orcish Bowmasters. Same kind of idea, right? If they draw extra cards, they get punished, and we make creatures. So, or Underworld Breach. I don't remember if I put Underworld Breach in this deck. It would be a good card to put in here. I don't think I did, though. But same idea. It's like an enchantment that does the same thing as Orcish Bowmasters. So, it's really cool to have this unique effect that's exclusive to black, where when decks try to gain cards to get answers to what you're doing, they actually end up making themselves closer to dying, right? Oh no, Sheoldred's on the battlefield. I gotta draw into answers. Well, if you draw cards while Sheoldred's on the battlefield, then you die, right? So it puts them in this really awkward bind where they're between a rock and a hard place, and I absolutely love it. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting. I'm just trying to think if there's any cards that we didn't really see. Most of this stuff is like, even though it's singleton, it's kind of repetitive. We saw Professor Onyx come down. What else? Most of it's just removal and stuff. Obviously, Invoke Despair. We have the other Sheoldred in here. Since we're going to be killing a bunch of their stuff, they're probably going to have 8, or more cards in their graveyard by the time this comes down. Makes them sack a creature, which is great. But then the backside, it's kind of like a win con. We can take all their creatures out of their graveyard and put them on the battlefield if we get to that. But yeah, essentially just mono black good stuff. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe. Like I said, I make a new video every day. All different kinds of decks, control, mid-range, combo, aggro. I'm up for anything. If you have a suggestion for commander you'd like to see me play, put it in the comments below. Like the video. Like I said, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.